Hello class, my name is Joseph Dudley and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what I do in the Air Force and hopefully you better understand the job that I do in the Air Force and its importance to the success of the overall Air Force mission. Without fuel, pilots are pedestrians is a motto that someone in my career field lives by. And if you think about it, it is true. Without fuel for aircraft, the aircraft will not be getting very far and the mission that the Air Force has will not be completed. As a fuels journeyman, I take great pride in knowing that the job I do supports the Air Force and how it leads to overall mission success. Today I will briefly touch on my job, the type of trucks we use, and different sections within POL. I will then go over 2 air and space functions we support. First, let me begin with briefly talking about POL. According to Wikipedia, POL originates from the British and stands for Petroleum, Oil and Lubricants. There are 3 main types of trucks that we use. The first type of truck is an R11. This truck has a 6,000 gallon capacity and is pretty much used to refuel any aircraft in the Air Force inventory. The next truck that we use is an R12. This truck also can refuel any aircraft in the Air Force inventory, but it has an unlimited capacity. It does this by using underground piping system that, in conjunction with the piping that is on the truck, to refuel aircraft. The last truck I want to talk about is the C300. This one has a 1,200 gallon capacity and is mainly used for ground fuels, such as refueling forklifts, K-loaders, things of that sort that need like diesel and MoGas. Next, let me talk about some of the different sections that POL has. Fuels distribution is the largest element in fuels. This is made up of mostly operators that go out and refuel the aircraft. The next section I want to talk about is the Fuels Service Center. This section is the focal point of the fuels management flight, receiving all the calls for fuel requests from maintenance and then dispatching out the operators to go refuel the aircraft. They also account for all the fuel that we use and that we store on base. The last section I want to talk about is the fuels lab. This section samples all our equipment that we have, our trucks, our tanks, and make sure that we don't have any contaminants that in the fuel, such as water, sediment, and ensures that we don't have any crashes to any aircraft by issuing contaminated fuel. Now that I've talked about some basics of POL, different types of trucks used, and some of the different sections within POL, next I will talk about 2 air and space functions we support. The first air and space function we support is airlift. We support this by issuing fuel to C-17, C-5, mostly transport aircraft that are taking troops, supplies, and equipment to forward operating locations. We also do this by sustaining our own operations to ensure these missions can succeed. We work 7 days a week, 24 hours a day to ensure these missions are done. The last air and space function I want to talk about is counter air. According to Joint Force Quarterly magazine, counter air is defined as a mission that integrates offensive and defensive operations to attain and maintain a desired degree of air superiority. POL or fuels does this by supporting refueling missions to B-52s and B-1 bombers that are conducting bombing missions. We also issue fuel to KC-135 tankers and KC-10 tankers to support these bombing missions. And we also do this by receiving fuel to sustain all these missions. Now that you've heard about some of the air and space functions POL supports, let's go over what I've talked about today. I briefly talked about some basics of my job and the different air and space functions that POL supports. I talked about types of trucks we use, the different sections within POL, and a couple of the air and space functions that we support, such as airlift and counter air. I hope you have gained a better understanding of my job and its importance in today's Air Force.